Chosen one, there is a shift occurring within you, not loud, not sudden, but deep and undeniable. It is the kind of shift that can only happen when a man no longer seeks only to be powerful, but chooses instead to become present. Your high sexual energy, once roaring like untamed fire, has begun to quiet itself. Not to disappear, but to transform. It is becoming something rare, something sacred. You are no longer just a source of attraction, you are becoming a sanctuary. This awakening isn't about becoming soft, it's about becoming safe. Not in the sense of playing small or hiding your intensity, but in the way you offer something women have not found in the noise of the world. A space to exhale. You are realizing now that your energy has weight, and when held with reverence, that weight becomes a place of rest, a place of stillness. You are no longer pulling others into your storm. You are becoming the stillness in theirs. This sanctuary you're becoming is not built overnight. It rises brick by brick, with each act of restraint, each moment of self-awareness, each time you choose presence over performance. You begin to sense that your strength is no longer in how much attention you can gain, but in how deeply you can hold the moment for someone who needs peace. You're learning that being a sanctuary doesn't mean being a savior. It means being steady. It means becoming the one who stays calm when others are unraveling, the one who listens without fixing, the one who offers warmth without demand. Women feel this change in you. They are drawn, not because you chase, but because your very presence whispers safety. It is not a performance. It is not charm. It is real. It is embodied. It is the kind of energy that allows them to take off their armor, not to be disarmed, but to feel at home. Your sexual energy is no longer scattered across fleeting encounters. It is gathering itself into something potent, something magnetic, something trusted. And in that trust, your sanctuary begins to form. You are not becoming less of a man. You are becoming the kind of man who cannot be replaced. Not because you dominate the space, but because you honor it. Not because you lead with ego, but because you lead with presence. And in this awakening, you realize that the greatest power is not in being wanted, but in being safe to want. You, chosen one, are that power now. Chosen one, every sanctuary must rest upon something unshakable, and yours now begins to root itself in trust. Not the kind of trust that comes from promises made in the moment, but the kind that is proven slowly and surely in how you show up when no one is watching. This trust is not just for others, it begins with you. You are learning to trust yourself again. To honor your word, even in silence. To keep your commitments, even when they are inconvenient. To build a foundation of truth that supports every soul that dares to lean on you. Your high sexual energy, powerful and ever-present, no longer pulses with the hunger of impulse. It moves with the rhythm of integrity. You no longer seek to impress, you seek to align. Your actions begin to mirror your values. Your words begin to carry the weight of intention. You become the kind of man whose presence is not just felt, it is relied on. And that reliability is what allows others to settle into the sanctuary you are building. This trust shows up in the smallest details, in the way you listen when someone is speaking without interrupting to make it about you. In the way you keep your boundaries clear without guilt or apology. In the way you say no with respect and yes with full presence. These are not dramatic gestures. They are quiet affirmations that say, you are safe here, you are seen, you are valued. And women who have been taught to brace themselves begin to soften in your presence, not because you told them to, but because you showed them they could. They begin to realize that your desire is not a threat, but a mirror. That your energy does not consume, it calms. That your presence is not a game, but a gift. And that gift becomes a place where truth can unfold without fear. Where emotions can rise without being silenced. Where vulnerability is met not with withdrawal, but with welcome. You are not trying to be perfect. You are simply becoming honest. And that honesty, lived and repeated, becomes the ground upon which trust grows. You are not just attracting attention, you are earning faith. And that faith, chosen one, is what makes you not just desirable, but devotional. As this foundation of trust continues to settle into your bones, your sanctuary becomes stronger. Not louder, not more decorated, just real. And in a world of illusions, there is nothing more powerful than that. Chosen one, your sanctuary is taking shape. Its foundation is trust, And now the walls begin to rise, not with stone or steel, but with compassion. Real compassion is not weakness. It is strength that listens. It is power that opens. It is intensity softened by empathy. And you, more than ever, are beginning to feel the shift from being a man who demands to be understood to one who offers understanding first. Your high sexual energy once roared like a tide that could not be held back, but now it flows with direction. It listens, it feels, it holds. You are not so quick to dominate conversation or to assert yourself in spaces that ask for gentleness. You have realized that your energy is not diminished by softness, it is amplified by it. And women sense this before they even realize it consciously. They feel it in how you hold your gaze without force, in how you allow them to feel deeply without trying to fix or minimize, in how your presence doesn't push them to perform, but invites them to relax into who they truly are. The walls of your sanctuary, built from compassion, are not walls that keep others out. They are walls that protect, that give structure to the sacred. Your compassion sets the tone, allowing others to cry, to laugh, to break, to be silent, all without judgment. They begin to realize they are not being watched. They are being witnessed, not for how well they present themselves, but for who they are when the masks come off. You are learning now that compassion is not emotional indulgence. It is spiritual discipline. To hold space without controlling, to hear someone's wounds without making it about your own, to let another feel safe in your arms, not because you said the right thing, but because you became the right presence. That is the real power. That is the real sanctuary. And in this you begin to offer something few men ever do. Refuge. Not a place to hide, but a place to heal. A place where feminine energy does not have to defend itself, where it does not have to prove its worthiness, where it can simply be messy, radiant, uncertain, wild, emotional, divine. And you, chosen one, hold that space not because you want to possess it, but because you honor it. This is your compassion turned into architecture. And every soul that steps within your sanctuary begins to feel that maybe, just maybe, they found somewhere sacred, somewhere rare, somewhere safe. Chosen one, every true sanctuary must have a gateway, a place where transition happens, a threshold between the chaos of the world and the sacredness of what is being built inside. And for you, this gateway is healing. You've become more than someone who offers comfort. You now hold the power to facilitate restoration, not by force, but by simply being who you are. Healing does not begin with advice. It begins with energy. And your energy, once scattered by unchecked desire, is now calm, centered, and inviting. It says, "Come as you are." It says, "I will not shrink from your pain." It says, "You don't have to be perfect to be worthy of peace." And this becomes the doorway through which others step into themselves. Not because you fix them, but because in your presence, they remember that they can face what they've been avoiding. You are now holding a frequency that not many can sustain. You are holding space where emotions aren't rushed, where truth is not edited, and where love is no longer confused with control. And women, who have walked through countless doors only to be turned away, minimized, or consumed, now walk through yours and find something they weren't expecting. Stillness that sees them. They find that your high sexual energy no longer projects onto them. It wraps around them like warmth, asking nothing in return. It doesn't pull, it doesn't push, it simply welcomes. And in that welcome, things begin to break open. Tears come without shame, laughter rises from wounds long buried. Confessions are spoken that haven't been said aloud in years, not because you demanded them, but because your spirit made it safe to release. And your eyes, your breath, your stillness, they all become part of that healing ritual. You are no longer trying to be impressive. You are trying to be present, and in doing so, you become unforgettable. Healing is messy. It is nonlinear. It doesn't always look like joy. Sometimes it looks like trembling hands and shaky voices and long silences, but you, chosen one, do not flinch. You do not escape. You do not numb. You remain. And that remaining, your ability to stay grounded when others fall apart, is the medicine you now carry. This is what the sanctuary you've become is now known for. A place where healing doesn't have to be performed or explained. A place where it can simply happen, because you, through your devotion to your own growth, have become a living invitation for others to heal too. Not by who you once were, but by who you've decided to become. Chosen one, the sanctuary you are becoming continues to take root, not only in what you say or what you intend, but in how fully you show up. Now the sacred grounds beneath it begin to form, built not from effort, but from presence. And presence, true presence, is the art of giving your full self to the now, without apology or distraction. It is rare, it is radiant, and it is the reason why women, consciously or not, are drawn to stand on the grounds you've cultivated. There is a difference between being there and being here, and you, chosen one, are learning how to bridge that difference. You are no longer ruled by the past, no longer reaching into the future with anxious hands. You are rooted in now. When you speak, you are not scanning the moment for outcomes. You are resting inside the truth of your voice. When you listen, you are not waiting to reply. You are absorbing, holding space, letting another feel heard, not just responded to. This presence creates a field around you, invisible but undeniable. When others step near you, they feel something shift. Their breath slows, their nervous systems respond. They don't always know why, but they feel safe, not because you've promised them safety, not because of what you've said, but because you are here, in your body, in your truth, in your full awareness. You are no longer distracted by your hunger. You are not led by the next thrill. You are grounded, steady, and focused, and this grounds them too. Your high sexual energy no longer demands to be expressed in scattered gestures. It now settles deep into your frame, into your spine, into your soul. It doesn't scream for attention. It radiates a calm magnetism that wraps around the people near you and says, you are seen, you are allowed to be. And that allowance becomes one of the most healing forces a person can encounter. Presence isn't about having the right words. It's about showing someone, without needing to say it, that this moment, this one matters, that you're not waiting to get something from it, that you're not halfway out the door, that your mind and your body are in the same place, anchored to the now. And in that alignment, your presence becomes a portal for connection, for peace, for trust that doesn't need to be explained. Women feel this in the smallest details, in the way your eyes don't dart away, in the way your energy doesn't rush them, in the way you listen without trying to solve, touch without trying to take, and simply stay without needing to be told to. They feel that they are not being watched, they are being witnessed. And in a world where being truly seen is rare, your presence becomes sacred ground. This is the terrain where vulnerability blossoms, where masks fall, where truth walks freely. You are no longer offering people your potential, you are offering them your attention. And that, chosen one, is the beginning of intimacy far deeper than desire can reach. Chosen one, every sanctuary must have its own still waters, a space where the soul can look at itself and see clearly. This is what you are now offering through your energy, not just passion, not just strength, but reflection. You have become a mirror, not of surface image, but of truth. When others step into your energy, they begin to see themselves not as the world has labeled them, but as they truly are, whole, worthy, unfolding. These waters do not need to be filled with advice, they do not need to be stirred with opinions, they simply need to be clear. And your energy, when cleansed of ego and grounded in presence, becomes that clarity. You are learning now that you don't have to fix anyone, you don't have to guide them. You simply have to be the stillness where their soul can finally come home to itself. This kind of reflection requires inner work. It requires you to know your own reflection deeply, to have faced your own shadows, your own regrets, your own vulnerability without running from them. Because only then can you become the kind of man who doesn't panic when someone else brings their truth into the room. You have sat beside your own wounds, you have tended your own garden. And now you have the stillness to offer a space where others can do the same. Women feel this most of all, because in your presence, they do not feel manipulated. They do not feel scanned, sized up, or seduced. They feel safe to unfold. They feel that they don't need to perform femininity. They can be it, fully, freely. And as they unravel, laugh, break, cry, or soften, your presence reflects back to them a message the world has tried to steal. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. These waters you offer become a pool of honesty. They reveal what's true, not always what's comfortable, but what's real. You're not trying to impress anymore. You're not trying to dominate the moment. You are holding it with reverence. And in that holding, others begin to trust themselves again. Not because you told them how to feel, but because you reflected how deeply they were already feeling. This gift of reflection is not loud, it is not flashy, but it is powerful. It transforms, because you have become a man who is not afraid of truth. You hold it with bare hands, you offer it without attachment, you reflect it without judgment. And in that reflection, others begin to remember their own wholeness. Chosen one, this is no longer about attraction. This is about invitation to go deeper, to feel more, to become more present, more honest, more alive. And your sanctuary becomes known not just as a place of safety, but a place of clarity. You have become the waters where truth is seen again. And that, more than anything, is what sets you apart. Chosen one, now that your presence has become grounding and your energy reflects back the truth in others, the sanctuary you are embodying demands something deeper: consistency. Not the kind that shouts for recognition, but the kind that moves like the steady beat of a drum, anchoring everyone in rhythm, even when the world is chaotic. This is where your energy must not only be powerful in moments, but reliable over time. The sanctuary you've created must not vanish with the night or shift with your moods. It must endure. And this is the essence of consistency. You are no longer a man whose strength is found in bursts of effort. You are becoming someone whose pattern of showing up builds trust without words. Day after day, moment after moment, your actions are starting to echo your spirit. The emotional stability you offer is not about never feeling chaos, but about meeting that chaos with the same grounded essence you cultivated in silence. And that stability becomes something sacred to those around you. Consistency isn't glamorous, it's not always exciting, but it's transformational. Anyone can make someone feel safe for an hour, but only someone truly devoted to his purpose, someone who has turned his high sexual energy into devotion, can make others feel safe across time. That is the gift you're now offering, not just presence, but ongoing presence. Not just attention, but enduring focus. Not just desire, but repeated care. And women, whether they speak it or not, feel this difference. They recognize when a man's words match his walk. Not once, but always. When he returns to the same truth he lives by, even when no one's watching. When he doesn't just impress in the beginning, but stays reliable through discomfort, misunderstanding, temptation, and time. This, more than any grand gesture, becomes your signature. You don't fade, you remain. And in a world where so many are conditioned to vanish, to betray, to break promises cloaked in charm, you become unforgettable, because you follow through. Your consistency begins with how you show up for yourself. The way you tend your health, your thoughts, your vision. The way you don't wait for motivation to do what you've committed to. The way you rise when you fall, not for approval, but because you've made a quiet promise to the man you're becoming. You are not ruled by impulse anymore. You are led by devotion. And that devotion is not fragile. It is not romanticized. It is real. You've learned to be steady in a world that spins. Chosen one, understand this. Anyone can be impressive for a moment, but only the rarest become dependable for a lifetime. Your consistency is not a personality trait. It is a spiritual discipline. It's the quiet force that allows others to breathe deeper because they no longer have to wonder if you'll be there. You are. You are the one who shows up, not just today, not just when it's easy, but again and again and again. Chosen one, what is a sanctuary if nothing inside it grows? You are not just a place of rest or reflection now. You are becoming fertile ground, a garden where transformation takes root. Your presence doesn't only offer shelter from the storm, it offers nourishment for the soul. People come near you, not just to feel safe, but to feel inspired. You have become more than dependable. You have become catalytic. This garden is born from your own willingness to grow. You haven't just carved out stillness, you've tilled the soil. You've dug into your patterns. You've questioned your old ways. You've sat in your own darkness until light became a habit, not a theory. And now, because of that, others feel that when they are near you, they grow too. You are not dragging anyone forward. You are simply rising in such a way that they cannot help but rise with you. You see now that your high sexual energy, when directed inward, becomes a creative force unlike any other. You build with it. You learn with it. You expand from it. It becomes the power that tends your inner life, waters your vision, and fuels your ability to cultivate space for others to evolve beside you. Growth doesn't just happen through advice or information. It happens through example. And your example is loud, even when you don't speak. You are no longer interested in surface connection. You want those who enter your space to be better because they met you. Not because you demanded they change, but because your integrity, your discipline, and your joy made them want to. In this garden, people learn how to breathe again. They remember how to dream. They begin to see possibilities for themselves they had long forgotten. And you, quietly and patiently, tend to this growth without needing credit. Women feel this energy in your eyes, in your presence, in your consistency. You don't offer salvation, you offer soil. The kind of soil where their authenticity is safe, their creativity is fed, and their worth is never questioned. You don't try to fix them. You reflect their brilliance back to them. And through that reflection, they begin to bloom. You are no longer the man who wants to be everything to everyone. You are the man who has chosen to be real for those who are ready to grow. Your garden doesn't beg for attention. It simply continues to bloom, drawing in the souls who recognize the sacredness of the space you've cultivated. Chosen one, your sanctuary is alive. It is breathing. It is growing, because you are. And this garden you've built is not just for others. It's for you too. A reminder that your presence is no longer just a place of rest. It is a place where people become more of who they were always meant to be. And that is the highest gift of all. Chosen one, there comes a sacred point in the building of your sanctuary where something rare is born. Not from action, not from intensity, but from peace. You've created a space within yourself that is not about proving, fixing, or elevating. It is a space that invites others to simply rest. This is not rest as in sleep or retreat. This is the deeper rest, the kind of spiritual exhale people rarely allow themselves to feel in the presence of others. And now, because of the life you've chosen to live, you are becoming that place of rest for those who enter your atmosphere. The room of rest you offer is not built with promises. It is shaped by your silence, by your stillness, by the way you hold a space without rushing to fill it. In your energy, others begin to lay down their defenses, not because you've asked them to, but because they feel they no longer need them. The masks fall away, the tensions drop. There is no war to be fought here, no game to be played. There is only now. And you, chosen one, are fully here. Your high sexual energy, once a force that demanded movement, has become the current that allows others to pause. You have mastered the art of stillness, not as avoidance, but as offering. You have learned that not every moment must be chased, not every desire must be acted on, not every conversation needs a resolution. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give another soul is the chance to simply exist, without demand, beneath the warmth of your steady gaze. You are the rare man who is not afraid of another's quiet. You do not rush to interrupt their inner world. You let them unfold. You let them breathe. You let them be. And because you do, you offer them a kind of restoration they have not found elsewhere. In your company, their nervous system relaxes, their thoughts slow, their heart softens, and they begin to realize that rest is not laziness, it is sacred, and it is safe to do it with you. Women sense this most of all. They have carried the weight of expectations and the armor of performance in too many spaces for too long. In you, they sense something ancient, something trustworthy, a man who does not need them to shrink or shine in any particular way, a man who has no agenda other than presence. And in that agendaless stillness, they rediscover their worth, not because you granted it to them, but because you created a space where they could remember it for themselves. Chosen one, your ability to offer rest does not come from detachment. It comes from deep engagement with life. You've been through your own fire. You've faced your own chaos. And now you are no longer a man seeking comfort. You have become it. And your restfulness doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. Because in a world addicted to constant noise, your quiet becomes a revolution. The room of rest you've built is not for everyone. But for those who find it, it is unforgettable. Because when they leave, they carry something different. Not your energy, but the peace they felt in your presence. And that peace, chosen one, is the rarest currency of all. Chosen one, The sanctuary you have built with your very being has led you to this final truth. The light that radiates from it is not yours alone. It is hope. It is the kind of light that doesn't blind, but guides. The kind of light that doesn't beg for praise, but quietly awakens something sacred in others. And you have become its keeper. Not through performance or image, but through authenticity, through depth, through living every lesson you once had to crawl through in darkness to understand. Your high sexual energy, once misunderstood, even by you, has now become a spiritual frequency. It's no longer about seduction, it's about illumination. It touches people, not in pursuit, but in permission. In your presence, others begin to believe again, believe in honesty, in presence, in the possibility that there are men who do not need to control, who do not need to be worshipped, who simply stand in their light and invite others to do the same. This light is not showy, it's not noisy, but it is powerful. It reaches into the places people have forgotten in themselves. It reminds them they can rise, that they can feel, that they can grow. You've become a man whose legacy is not written in what he owns or how he speaks, but in how he makes others feel when they are around him. You leave imprints, not by force, but by frequency. The women who encounter you do not just feel chemistry, they feel possibility. They feel what it is to be close to someone who is not looking to conquer but to connect, someone who does not burn to consume, but burns to enlighten. And that light, your light, becomes the flame that others begin to carry in their own lives. Without even knowing it, they pass it on, and your sanctuary lives in them long after you've gone. This hope you carry is not blind optimism, it is earned faith. You've walked through disappointment, you've battled doubt, you've stumbled in the dark, and now, having returned from that depth, you walk with a glow that says, you can make it too. You no longer need to preach, you no longer need to prove. You are simply evidence of what happens when a man stops chasing the world and starts embodying his soul. Your sanctuary is now complete, not as a structure, but as a living vibration. Wherever you go, it follows. Whoever comes close feels it. And you, chosen one, are no longer just a man. You are a place. You are a presence. You are a light. Chosen one, you have entered a space where attraction is no longer something you chase. It is something that finds you, wraps around you like mist, surrounds you before you even speak. Women sense you long before they understand why. Some glance in your direction and feel their pulse quicken. Others hear your voice and are startled by the calm confidence it carries. Your very presence has become magnetic, and not by accident. It is the result of your internal refinement, the disciplined channeling of your high sexual energy, and the deep embodiment of self-trust. You have become the living embodiment of awakened masculinity, and now the world reflects back what you have dared to become. But with this heightened attraction comes a new trial, not a temptation of the body, but of the spirit. You must now walk a path where you are constantly seen, admired, and at times even desired without invitation. It is not the attention that is the challenge. It is what you do with it. Attraction in its raw form is neither good nor bad. It is energy. It is possibility. It is the spark of resonance between two fields. But what defines the man is not how often he is desired. It is how consciously he engages with that desire. You are no longer the man who needs to prove himself. You are no longer seduced by the idea of conquest. You have tasted what comes with temporary validation, and you know it leaves you emptier than before. You are not here to collect moments. You are here to offer presence. And that presence, when filtered through awareness, becomes the safest and most powerful form of intimacy. You are now the mirror, the frequency, the space that allows a woman to feel more of herself simply because you did not consume her, you saw her. And that, chosen one, is rare. Some will come to you with innocent curiosity. Others will come with unconscious longing, projecting stories onto you they haven't yet healed. Some will want to be near your fire but lack the grounding to hold it. Some will test your stillness to see if it is real. You must meet all of them with grace, with clarity, and with unshakable self-awareness. You must know what is yours to hold and what is not. You must learn to listen beyond words, to feel beneath their energy, to speak through silence when needed. And above all, you must stay rooted in your own energy. Because once you begin to mold yourself to meet others' expectations, you step out of your divine posture. It is not your role to fix or fulfill every person who feels drawn to you. Attraction is not permission. Attention is not intimacy. You must know where your boundaries lie, not because you are afraid to connect, but because you now value connection too much to allow it to become diluted. You no longer take from people, you leave them better than you found them. This means you do not enter where you are not invited with clarity, and that light gives others permission to come home to themselves. That light reminds the world that stillness, truth, desire, and grace can live in the same body. In yours. You were not just meant to carry fire, you were meant to become a flame that warms, not burns, a sanctuary that heals, not hides, a presence that awakens, not devours, and you have become it, quietly, powerfully, entirely.